Hello, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Okay, so you guys are going to hear some things. I have been playing like I don't have nothing to do, and I've been setting up my 2024 planner lineup and setting things up so I can go over it with you guys. And I completely forgot that today is Sunday and I need to post a video, and I wanted to post the budget closeout. So I'm not going to go over every single thing that I wanted to talk about. I'll go over that in my next closeout, but I'll give you guys the highlights of how I was able to successfully close out my budget for the first time this year. Well, for one, I actually made up my mind to close out my budget. I wasn't being lazy, so that was probably the biggest thing. The second biggest thing would be that I didn't wait until the end of the month to start closing out my budget. So that's what you see this page right here. And sorry for my setup. I am in my hubby's office because he actually has like an office with a door versus my office is out basically right next to the living room, which is also where the kids play. So yeah, that's why this setup is different. But anyways, this right here is my budget closeout prep that I did. And what I did was I started to close out my month at certain points. So I set certain like triggers that would tell me when to close out my budget. For this month, what I did was I followed my calendar. So the 1st through the 15th is the first half of the month for us. So that would be like our first paycheck because we are 1 month ahead. So I don't technically have like paychecks, but this is kind of the schedule that we follow. And the last half of the month is the 16th through the 31st for October. So that was my trigger when the 15th came that I wanted to start closing out all of my expenses for October, from the 1st to the 15th. And then that's what you see right here. These are my categories. If you want to see how I came up with these categories, I'll go ahead and link my budget categories video up in the cards. And then once the last day of the month came, I did this column. So, and I add these two up so that over here, I could put it in my actuals column. Let me get this off. I was swatching markers because, you know, I got to keep with the color scheme. Like, I'm not trying to have all kind of colors throughout my closeout, and that was like one of the reasons why I couldn't fully get with the highlighter method, but I'll definitely go over that in a different video. So this was my method that I came up with, and that's another tip, is to just come out with a method that works for you. If you are not a paper and pen girl and you prefer Excel, close out your budget in Excel. That does mean that you'll have to probably type up everything, all of your transactions, so you can add them up and everything like that. But do whatever works for you so that you can be successful. So that's what I did here. So I wrote it all down and I did the actual calculations in Excel. So I'm going to do something different again so that it's all on paper next month, but that's what I did. So once I got all of my transactions totaled up per paycheck, I added these two columns together, and then again I put them over here. So let's go through my actual like closeout for how I did for October. And then on the back of here is just like my script for this video, so kind of don't mind it. We'll just turn it upside down. So I'm just going to use this to keep track because I am holding this phone with one hand as well. So yeah, we really bootstrapping it over here. So anyways, 4 walls category, budgeted $2,999.71, and our actual was $2,702.38, which means that we were under budget by $297.33 or 9%. So the turquoise is everything we came in under budget, and then the pink is everything we were over budget for. And I just chose those colors because they go with my October theme. So that's the only reason why. So this was another issue with this closeout method where I chose to do October's budgeted amount versus October actual amount. Since I am tracking our actual spending, if we did not, so say like electric and water, when I went through my monthly bills to check it off and make sure that everything was paid, I did catch those two weren't paid. But for this specific example, ID theft and pest control are sinking funds, so they're not going to be included in this actuals column unless it's that month to pay for that specific expense. So technically, we did put the money aside in our set aside account, or like a savings account, so that when a bill does come due, we can go ahead and pay it. But as far as this line goes, it's saying that we came under budget when technically we were, you could say, on budget. Except for the electric and water. So that's another thing that I'm trying to just figure out with this budgeted column versus actual. I think next month, I know for sure that next month we are going to do actuals versus actuals. So October actuals versus November actuals next month, or I should say this month because it is November. So yeah, that was one of the things that I did notice with this budget closeout and that I wasn't quite happy with. But anyway, moving on to clothes, we were over budget by $309.12 just because I didn't budget anything for clothes, and I did go out and buy the kids some fall clothes and things like that, and some stuff for like our holiday box. So more on that in another video. But food and consumables, we budgeted $1,000. We went over budget by 3%, which is actually surprising because I thought we were doing terrible on food, but it's actually not that bad. And then, as I suspected in one of my prior videos, is that I thought we were going to have to increase our gas to $600, and I was right because we were over budget by 12%. And this is just like our normal gas usage. Like, I think we may have made one extra trip because we went and visited family a couple cities over, but it wasn't far. It was maybe like 40 miles. So sorry if you hear the kids yelling. Like I said, they are literally in the living room and they're loud. So it is what it is. Childcare, we were under budget by 37% with $67 under budget. Pull-ups, we didn't spend anything for pull-ups. That just went into a sinking fund. So we were 100% under budget. Debt, we came on. Oh my gosh, my oldest daughter Isla is just going crazy. That is her thing. She just yells for fun, and it's just, she likes to be a dinosaur. So let me hurry up so you guys don't have to listen to it. So debt was on budget, business was on budget, medical was over budget by $35, which actually makes sense because we did get this money back. They did, the hospital did refund us because we overpaid, so that actually does make sense. And then home repair and maintenance, we bought a couple of landscaping tools, so we're going to try to get the yard together ourselves, and if we can't handle it, then we're probably going to pull in some landscapers, but that's what that was mainly for, and some stuff for Christmas. But you'll see as well, our I did have to add a couple of categories after my budget category video, just to make things a little bit easier and clearer, and so that I could set up a sinking fund for holidays next year. But you guys will see that. I'll talk about that in another video. Cars came way over budget by 88% because hubby had to spend $309 on I think a full set of tires or 2 new tires. I think it was a full set. But either way, that's why that was. Otherwise, cars would have came under budget because this is just our car repair and maintenance. And yeah, so professional services, we didn't spend anything. Beauty services, I did go and get my hair washed and everything in October, so I didn't budget for that, but my mommy loves me and gave me some money to go treat myself, so I didn't actually go over budget. I don't count money that comes out of sinking funds and savings and all that, so it could say that we're over budget when in reality we're not. But again, the goal here with my budget closeout is I'm trying to track behaviors. So does it make sense that I spent $65 on beauties and services, even though it says that, I'm over budget because I didn't budget anything? Well, yes, that makes sense. And maybe a thought for me is that I need to include beauty services in my monthly budget. So that's just food for thought. So that is kind of the point of my budget closeout, is just to make me think about our spending habits so that I can adjust it for the future so that it meets our lifestyle. And of course, stay within our means. Definitely don't want to go back into consumer debt and have high credit card balances and all that, because been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. Okay, travel for family and fun. We went over budget by 1%, which isn't bad at all. Social life, we didn't go anywhere. And the difference between travel and family fun and social life is if we are spending money on family and friends. So if we're going somewhere like a friend celebrating their birthday at a restaurant, then I'm going to categorize that in social life versus travel and family and friends, because that is us going to celebrate someone else versus us trying to celebrate something as a family, like one of the kids' birthdays or something. So that's what that is. Subscriptions and memberships came in. This was actually funny when I calculated it. I was like, wow. It came over budget by 320% because we did renew our anime subscription and we were going back and forth on it. We kind of decided that we weren't going to do it, which is why I didn't budget for it. But then because they have a free version, but it has ads in it. You have to watch ads, which I'm not above ads. I came up with TV where we had to watch the commercials. You know, you go use the bathroom during the commercial, or you wash a couple dishes during the commercial, you know, what have you. So I'm no stranger to ads. I was completely fine with it. But these ads, when I tell you, these ads are not skippable. They repeated the same ad 4 times in a row. I was like, oh no, hubby, we got to, this free version, this ain't it. So we went ahead and renewed that. So that's why we're over budget there. Landscaping. So I did mention that we bought landscaping supplies like the trimmers, like the hedge trimmers and all that kind of good stuff, but I didn't put it in landscaping because this is landscaping services. So basically services that we're paying a landscaper to come and do our yard. So that's the difference of why I put it in home versus this landscaping line. So the next one is giving. I don't go over giving because one, I'm not going to say I don't care about it, but I don't track it. So tithes, support for family and friends, like I don't track it and I don't care to share it because I'm not trying to boast or anything like that. We give with a giving heart. We're not expecting it back. If we do give it, if they happen to give it back, then great. But there's a fine line. We are not one for supporting another household. Say like bad habits, they're coming back month after month after month to borrow money. We don't support that. We're not enablers, but times are tough. We understand. And if family or friends need a little assistance, if we have it, then we'll go ahead and give it. Tithes. Full disclosure, I'm not tithing right now, but I usually do when the money is right. But that's subjective to each household when you think your money is right. So I'm not gonna get into that. But anyways, savings, didn't put anything in savings. This line right here is a added line, and this is a line where my hubby spent some money and it's usually on him eating out while at school or something like that, or he bought some kind of tech stuff for school or whatever, and he bought it out of our personal money instead of his school, like financial aid, what is it called, school loan account. That's what I was looking for. And then kids school is another line where this would be teacher appreciation, school activities that they want to participate in, things like that. None of my kids are in school. They're not school age just yet. They are in daycare, but I do have a line for that because I am anticipating our son to start school next year. So I want to already have a category for that. So that's why that got added. And then holidays, we we're over budget by $398.14, just because I do have a Christmas sinking fund, and I started to buy stuff for our holiday box and just new Christmas decor, basically pillowcases for the couch to make it a little bit more festive in the living room, for the kids primarily. So we went ahead and did that. And then this line right here is a line for myself where any money that I spend on me that doesn't hit one of these other categories is basically what I'll put here. So if I, for example, this will mostly be hair, honestly. So I differentiate the hair that I buy. I like to get my hair done. I like braids. I like sew-ins. I like all the different styles. So how I am differentiating it is, if I buy wefts, if you know, you know, I'm not about to explain it. If I buy wefts that I'm about to get sewn in, then I'll put that in beauty services, because I don't know how to sew in my own wefts. I take it to my beautician, she sews it in. But if it's something like a wig, like a V-part wig, or just anything like that, or like a quick little ponytail, something that I can do myself, braiding hair, that I'm not going to use for an appointment, I'll go ahead and put it in this category. And really, that's all I really buy for myself that's not going to be in any one of these categories. So I thought it would be appropriate, because then I can keep the hair that I buy different from basically, I won't inflate the beauty services, because I do intend to make this a sinking fund one of these years, if not next year. So I do want to like keep those separate. So in total, what we budgeted was $5,931.46. Our actual expenses for October was $7,460.25, which means that we were over budget by $1,528.79. And again, this is not completely accurate, because this money did come from sinking funds and cash envelopes with balances, all that kind of stuff, because I don't think I mentioned it, but or all that much. We do use Cube Money, which is digital cash envelopes, where it is connected to a real checking account. So all of my cash envelopes and stuff are done digitally. So any money left over, I just leave it in that cash envelope or sinking fund, and it rolls over to the next month. So if anyone was ever wondering, because I know I don't really go into that part, because I don't know, I think it's self-explanatory, but maybe that's just me. But yeah. So anywho, I think that was it for this budget closeout. We did go over budget in some areas, but I know what those areas are. Probably for next month, like I said, we are definitely going to compare October's actuals to November's actuals. And I did already start to shift the budgeted amount based on this closeout for our December budget. I might have done it for November, but I can't remember. But either way, our gas, we're definitely going to increase to $600. And then we are going to do something about the food and consumables, because, yeah, we do need a little bit more room in this budget, in the food budget. So we're going to tweak that a little bit. And then let's see, I'm trying to scan it and make sure. I think that was the only categories for now that we tweaked based on this budget closeout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, but chatty video, and I hope it gave you some pointers on how to close out your budget successfully. If it did, hit that hit that thumbs up button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.